This is your mom's favorite show, Beer and Chill podcast. My name is Jan,
And I'm Craig.
and we would really appreciate if you would stop by and listen to our show. We are talking about interesting facts about your favorite movies, games, and TV shows.
For example, did you know that Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen had a real-life beef because Christopher Lee wanted to play Gandalf in Lord of the Rings?
And many other great facts.
We hope you check us out and enjoy the rest of your show. Bye-bye.
What's your favorite scary movie?
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
For God's sake, what happened to our eyes?
Suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
They're here.
Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast. Kill the lights, lock the doors, get comfy, and prepare for the sexiest and scariest podcast around. I'm Nick, and with me is my co-host Allie.
Oh my god, I just took a big gulp of my wine and I was like, oh shit, I have to talk soon.
Oh no, no, that's an introduction.
Yeah, hi. My name's Al. I drink wine.
Fancy.
I was talking to one of my coworkers. She I go by Al, Allie, all that kind of stuff. And she's like, she goes by Allie. We have different first names, but if you shorten them down, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So she goes by Allie, and I always go by Al just for ease of communicating at work.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, oh my god, I hate when people call me Al. It makes me feel so masculine. And I'm like, oof. I prefer when people call me Al over Allie. I don't know why. I think it's because Allie was like my nickname growing up when I was a kid, so it always makes me feel very like kiddish.
It totally was.
Right, exactly. So then when people call me Al, it's like, you know, because it's my work nickname, so it's like I identify more with it as like my adult self.
I also see Al as Blind Al from Deadpool. And
Oh,
hey,
yes.
that character's a woman too.
Yay!
Son of a bitch. How about
and
that?
she's also bomb.
Oh yeah.
I love her. She's great. Did you see? We'll just jump right into talking John.
Oh yeah, we always
As you do. That they're making it R-rated.
I'm
Disney.
so they had to.
They had to.
They had to. They really
How
did.
else can you make a Deadpool?
You
can't.
You
No.
can't. No.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And,
yeah.
And now that Disney has acquired / stolen all these, just all these properties.
Yep.
A lot of them are not PG friendly.
yeah, exactly.
So, what do you expect? You have to stick with the material that it was, or you're gonna lose audience
Absolutely.
and money.
Yep. There was also, okay, so just a little bit of background noise. My house is still dripping. If you listened last week, my house is still dripping, so there's buckets to either side of us. But we did a test and you can't hear it. So, but if it picks up on the microphones, just know that. And our executive producer is full of piss and vinegar tonight, so
Yes.
if you hear squeaking or jingling, that's Ichabod trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did I watched a video today too of all the movies that they're going to have coming out on Netflix this year.
Oh, nice.
I definitely heard that in the microphone.
That's okay.
And one of them, like, they have a new movie coming out on Netflix every week.
Really?
Yes. And like good movies because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
There weren't a ton of thrillers. I think out of the 52 movies, 18 were dramas, and I think 4 were thrillers, and one of them is with Amy Adams.
Nice.
Yes. So I'm excited for that. It looked really good.
Well, I read that, and this could be BS because it's
Sure.
off online, but Netflix is doubling down on their horror movies this year. I heard. Good. Their selection is okay, but they could do a major.
Yeah. I wish that
Upgrade.
they would partner with Shatter or something, because I find Shatter just like their collection of movies is so small. Like
is.
I've watched, and this is not a flex, but I've watched almost every movie on it. Like every 2 weeks I check and watch the new releases because there's only 3 or 4.
Yep.
And it's like, come on, like, because I was so excited when I first got Shudder, because I'm like, man, a horror streaming service. And then I watched all the Slash-tastics within like a week, and I was like, well, that's disappointing. So, but yeah, I've watched a few since the last time we recorded. One with Jennifer Lawrence from like 2012. The Last House in Town or something it's called. I forget, honestly. I probably should have
Never
looked
heard
it
of
up.
that one.
It was really good.
Oh.
Really, really good. What else have I watched? I don't know. I've been watching more. I'm on season 18 of Hell's Kitchen.
Nice.
So I'm almost done Hell's Kitchen at this point.
And then we're going to watch
Buffy.
Thank You.
I know.
Thank you.
I have to get into it. And I also started watching Schitt's Creek because I needed something kind of light to watch while I'm working.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. That's a great show.
It's really good.
It is really fun. It's got great Canadian actors.
Right. Dan and
So
Eugene
good.
Levy. Like,
Yes.
love.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
Thank you.
She's amazing. She plays the same character as she does in Beetlejuice, like the pretentious
yeah.
mom character. Because I was watching it and I texted Jessica and I was like, Moira is literally like Catherine O'Hara in Beetlejuice, and she's like, mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm like, yep, it's the same character. So may as well.
May as well. Why not?
Yeah, just less possessed body dancing, but yeah, lots of stuff going on in movie news these days.
And there's also, due to the whole pandemic thing, Warner Brothers are doing like a consecutive release.
Yep.
On, is it HBO? No.
Yeah, I thought it was HBO.
Is it HBO? I forget what, but they're like movies released in theaters. At the same time, they're on kind of on demand on streaming services. I think they have their own little streaming thing. I heard it's a bomb. But there's a lot of pushback on that because people want to see movies in theaters. For example, Godzilla vs. King Kong. That's going to be released in theaters and at home.
Yes.
I'm going to go see it in theaters.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do my best to go see it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm just like we're under lockdown here still until 29th. We still can't meet with more than one household.
Yeah.
So I'm like, because our cases, and they're not as bad as the States, but like we're a little better in Canada here about it, especially our province. But we're still getting like yesterday we had like 400 cases again. That's like, y'all. So I'm like, I think just with the pandemic, they're trying to be understanding, right?
Yeah, and also it is also the cold and flu season.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot more.
So it's a double whammy.
Yeah, it's the COVID thing plus cold and flu.
Yeah.
And I think they're all kind of saying everything now is COVID.
Yeah, totally.
Which is it all COVID? Maybe not.
But there's lots of testing going on still, which is good. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just
but whatever.
scary.
It is, whatever.
Yeah.
It is just hide.
Yes, exactly.
Hide and watch awesome horror movies.
Ugh, yes. Which is why I'm so excited about this this new Netflix thing. Once a week they're coming out with stuff. Like,
That's
I'm
cool.
jazzed for that. And they had like The Rock and like all of them on there talking about it, and Julia Roberts and Halle Berry and
Nice.
lots of like famous people. Ryan Reynolds, lots of famous people. So yeah, because what else do you do in this pandemic right now, right? Because it's still like
what you
almost
do?
a year later.
You buy a fucking house and you move during this goddamn pandemic. Like me.
Yeah, how's that going? Let's see how that's
you know what? Let's talk about that because I
let's
told
talk
you
about
about it.
Yeah.
Earlier. So bought a house out of the city. It's
Yep.
nice. It's a great place. You've seen it. It's sweet.
It's fantastic.
First night.
Yep.
I'm in the bathroom and I swear I heard children laughing downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whatever. It's the house. It's creaking, whatever.
Yeah.
I go to the bedroom. I go start making my bed, get everything all set up. I hear it again.
Yeah.
This time I'm like, okay. I appreciate the company.
Yeah.
But if I hear it again, I'm coming back to Saskatoon and sleeping at your place. It never happened.
Yeah, not
And
ready for that.
I haven't heard him any since, and I think it helped that I played some Michael Jackson music. So
Always. Which song? Which song?
all of them.
Oh, okay.
It's
good.
Michael
Good,
Jackson.
good, good.
Come on,
Yeah,
little kids,
yeah,
Michael
fair,
Jackson.
fair,
Which I'm not a firm believer in that whole thing.
fair. Really?
But I'm
Oh,
on the fence.
I
He's-
100% believe it.
he was too scared to do that.
I mean, but here's the thing. At your age, would you like to have a sleepover with a 10-year-old?
No.
So
Unless-
there were
unless it's
different
really-
intentions. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he was like rapey. I'm just saying that something wrong was happening.
He was a little broken in the head, I think.
Totally.
His mu-
Totally. He
his
had a
mu-
fucked up childhood.
Yes.
100%.
His music talent was beyond belief. And, like, his music just... It spoke for itself.
I agree. You know, and what hurts me is that he is my favorite artist of all time.
Yeah.
But like, I don't listen to his music anymore because it's like, ugh,
See,
just in case I want to support the victims, and like, it's so hard. It's so hard to know what to do in that situation. Like, I don't listen to R. Kelly, Chris Brown, none of those anymore.
He's got to kind of look past that a little bit, just for the music-wise, just for, like...
Right, but in the same breath, I don't want them making more money. You know what I mean? I don't want them making more money off of me.
Well, he
because I
can't.
don't think that
He
they
can't,
should be
he's dead.
supported.
He can't, he's dead.
Yeah, but I mean, his family and stuff. Like, not that it's his
Well,
family's fault, but like,
I don't think they had anything really to do
no,
with it.
totally. But it's just like, ugh, just sucks. The whole thing just sucks. Like, why can't we were literally having this talk before we were talking to Freaky that like, as long as you're two consenting adults not doing anything illegal, like,
Go
do
ahead.
what you want.
That's right.
Do whatever you want, but just leave like 10-year-old boys out of it.
Yes.
That would be cool.
And the girls too. Leave the boys
Yeah.
and girls, leave them alone. They're young. Let them just do their
Yeah,
thing.
and animals. Animals can't consent. Let's just leave bestiality out of it too. No? Why are you giving me look,
This
no?
took a turn that I was not expecting. Horror movies, Lana. Horror movies. Let's...
Sorry. My bad.
Oh,
I mean,
whatever.
that would be a horror movie, though. I mean, yeah,
Oh,
just
yes. Oh,
saying,
yes.
eh?
But yeah, so I'm totally off topic now.
Yup. That's basically
As-
where we
as
live, though. Let's be honest. We
your,
live off
your house
topic.
is flooding with drips everywhere.
I know. Oh my god. I'm like, okay, how do we fix this? That's okay. My leg will be a bowl for the moment.
Okay.
Oof. Don't buy old houses. Or do. Don't let it snow.
Yeah.
I just like every time I'm like, okay, that just means it's like one step closer to not happening again, because it'll, just keep melting and
Yeah.
oh my god. The joys of living in a crazy climate.
Yeah, like I was telling you, like Alberta, our next door neighbors
Yeah.
are. It's January. They're
Mhm.
having lightning and
Like-
rain. What the fuck?
Like why?
This is some like end of day shit.
Yes. It's terrifying. Like, who hurt you, Mother Nature? Like, who do we need to fight?
What's
so
your
you
ish?
stop doing this.
Yeah. What's your ish, bish? Come on.
Exactly. 100%. Oh my god. Well, I think we've talked about 10,000 different topics, so should we get into Freaky?
I think we should get into Freaky.
Yay! Alright, so this week we watched Freaky. It was a 2020 movie, and it was directed by Christopher Landon and written by Michael Kennedy and Christopher Landon, and produced by Blumhouse, because it was a Blumhouse movie, as I said in the beginning. So,
Yeah.
which was good. Like, I don't know, I love this movie.
This was surprisingly good.
Right?
I love the trailer for it.
Yes.
It had a great twist on the Freaky Friday trope,
Mm-hmm.
and the actors killed it. Vince Vaughn killed it. Like
He's so good.
You forget just how good he is
Right.
of an actor.
He was very, like, what I thought was, have you seen the new Jumanjis?
Only the first one.
The first one? Okay, good. Very Jack Black-esque
Yes.
as teenage girl. And it was so good. Like, ugh.
Like he commits himself hard.
100%. The running.
Yep. The
I
running
will
was,
never get over his, like, jaunt in the run. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it was so good. Oh.
And it's been a while since I've seen the original Freaky Friday. It's been a long time, and I know it doesn't quite the same feel to it, but like I was kind of waiting for, and this always happens whenever a male and a female switch bodies. Usually
Always.
the male
Yeah.
grabs the tips.
Yeah. First thing you
because
do is go to genitalia.
I got boobs.
Yeah.
In Farscape, they did the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And what in turn of John Crichton ends up in Aaron's body. What does he do when he's alone? He unzips and he's flapping around like he's having a blast. And then he gets caught.
Yes. Well, of course.
And in this, they have something kind of similar.
Yes.
Both
of them.
yes. Both, now I've got the front actresses. Catherine Newton, when
Yes.
she's been, they switched with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Of course, goes to the tits, and she's like, oh, I got boobs now, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And with Vince Vaughn, when he's playing,
The
Billy,
girl, yeah.
Billy, of course, there's a lot of peeing in this movie.
Yes.
There is
like
a
a
lot of-
surprising
there's a
amount
lot
of
of-
peeing.
A lot of urination.
Yes.
And he he explains how it's like an anteater.
Yeah.
And he's just whipping that thing back.
Oh my god, yeah, he like pees and he's like, peeing standing up is really fun. And then he's like flapping it back and forth and he's
It's
like,
like an anteater.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if they're going to do this female version of genitalia, and there's that one meme of the elephant with it, the little baby elephant just whipping its trunk around.
Yeah.
It's like girls' first time they have a dick. Or they find-
Absolutely. First thing I do is pee. That's the first thing I
Yeah.
do. Totally. It's just why? Like, why is that the first thing? I
and
don't
and
know.
it's actually a legitimate question. It's not
Yes.
do I wipe? What do I do? I'm thinking, if you're
Yes.
first time, that's if you wiped your whole time, that's a good question. No, you do not wipe. Men shake.
Okay.
You can
Yeah.
tell you can tell when you go and gas up your vehicle. If there's a guy after it's done, he gives a couple taps. Girls, out in.
Oh, I like bang it around
Oh,
a
you
bunch
bang?
of times.
Okay,
yeah,
then you
I
must
do a
have-
bunch of bangs.
Your previous life must have been a guy, because
Know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like so foreign, when you have no experience. And it's like, what's the one thing biologically that makes us different, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you do.
Yep.
Yeah, it was funny. I just, this is exactly the perfect horror comedy. Like, the amounts that they did horror and comedy were fantastic.
And it starts off as a horror, a
So
very good
scary.
horror. It starts off very serious and legit.
Yes.
And then it tapers off to more comedy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
It's not 3, not 1. It's a horror
Exactly.
with comedy in it.
Yes.
And it works. This worked very well.
But like the gore was phenomenal.
Gore was great.
Like I texted Jessica and I said like, "Oh my god, we're watching Freaky and it's so good." And I didn't think she was great with gore, and she's like, and I was just double checking like, "Are you okay with gore?" And she's like, "As long as it's not like the main part of the movie." And I'm like, "Not really. Like it's
No.
really sandwiched in there with really good, other than the opening scene, it's really sandwiched in there with good comedy, like funny
Yeah.
stuff."
And also, I was thinking about this just after we watched it. I was kind of getting my thoughts together about
Yeah.
this movie. It's not older horror fans will really enjoy it.
Totally. Yeah.
Because it's very aimed towards youth.
Totally.
Like late teens,
Yeah.
early 20s. And that's kind of like where it's set.
Totally. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's like a high school sort of a situation.
yeah,
almost.
like some horror fans my age would think this is silly.
Right,
It's
for
dumb.
sure.
They wouldn't get it. Some people don't get the horror comedy genre.
Which is so sad because
Yeah.
I think it's like the perfect almost like gateway drug into horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Because like even the beginning, like there's one kill, like it's not even a spoiler because the beginning is just a montage of killing and they're not main characters. He's banging a girl's head on a toilet seat repeatedly until her head is like mush.
Yeah.
And I like was like, oh my god, like, ooh. And then, but that's fantastic because normally stuff doesn't get to me so much. But because this was made in 2020, the graphics were really good.
Yep.
So it's like you actually think that like he's banging her head until it's mush.
Oh yeah.
And he's got like a weird mask, like, which is why I think that people maybe of a bit of older generation would appreciate it, only because of the throwbacks.
There's a lot of homages in this movie,
Yes.
which you kind of, I noticed, and you kind
Yeah.
of mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Like during the first couple kills, one person gets kind of stabbed against the wall,
Yeah.
and he's just looking at her, and he does
The Michael head
the Michael Myers head tilt.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well
Hey!
done.
He did the thing.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
That's smart filmmaking.
Absolutely. And his mask is very akin
Very
to Jason.
yes.
And on the TV, when they're talking about he's called the Blissfield Butcher. When they're talking about him, he said that he killed his mom and then like did something with her decapitated head. And that's very Friday the 13th as well. Like not exactly.
And also a little bit
Halloween-y.
not Halloween, but Psycho.
Yeah,
A little bit
totally.
Psycho. A little bit Psycho. Which Vince Vaughn was in the Psycho remake.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Ooh.
I was literally
I've heard-
listening. I was listening to it the other day. I was listening to it around my family, and my mom's like, "You said the word butthole a lot of times." I'm like, "Yes, I did. This is a classy program for everybody. You know, what can I say? The word butthole is just,
Yeah.
in my vocab.
The Butthole Podcast.
Nothing but classy conversations on the Horr-Gasm podcast.
That's
yeah, like we're
right.
called Horr-Gasm. What do you want from me? Of course we're talking about butthole.
Of course. Well, should we get to the cast? No,
Let's get
actually,
into
I take
it.
that back. Before we jump in, where did you hear about this movie before?
You showed me the trailer.
I did.
I'm pretty sure that's how I heard about
And
it.
I saw it online. I'm like, ooh, what's this? This looks interesting. And sure enough, it was. And of course, I rarely send it to you because horror.
Yes, of course.
And and you like the trailer. I like the trailer.
Absolutely.
And we got it added.
Well, I love Freaky Friday. Like, it's the one, I of course know the one with Lindsay Lohan, because I'm a millennial. And so this, like, very much spoke to me as well. And Jamie Lee Curtis was in the original one.
Oh, that's
or Scream
right.
Queen.
Yes.
Yeah, or not the original one, sorry, the remake. And she did such a good job.
Yeah.
So I was like, what could go wrong? Also, in that one, it's like two girls switching bodies.
Yes.
And this one, it's a boy and a girl. And I'm like, I want to know what that does. Like, the only one where I've sort of seen that is that Rob Schneider movie. Where he switches bodies with a teenage girl. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That? I know I've heard of it.
Yeah.
She's the man? No.
No, that's with Amanda Bynes.
That was with Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? And he does a cheerleading thing, too, which they actually did
yes.
in this
yeah.
one. Yeah, that's how Vince Vaughn shows his, like, as Millie, whatever,
Yeah.
he shows his friends that it's still her,
Yeah.
is he does a cheerleading thing, which was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was trying to think what movie. Oh, well. That's...
Yeah. Can't remember.
It's Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
It's a little forgettable. Okay, so...
I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
I'm just...
True. Let's get into the cast now.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Okay, so we got Vince Vaughn starring as the Blissfield Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Newton as Millie Kessler.
Both of them were, like, fantastic.
They really
Like, they
were.
did such a good job.
Yeah. And she's a tormented high school student who unintentionally trades wives with the Blissfield Butcher.
Yes.
No shit. Katie Finneran as Coral Kessler, Sharon Millie's alcoholic widowed mother.
Yes.
Danny Drury as Charlene Kessler,
Mm-hmm.
Millie's older sister, who is a police officer.
Yes.
Celeste
Which is important.
She is.
Yeah.
Celeste O'Connor as Nyla Jones, Millie's friend. Misha Asherovic as Josh Detmer, Millie's other friend.
Yes.
He's the token
Yes.
gay friend.
He's so funny. There's one scene where they're running away from Millie as the butcher, and they're just him and Nyla, who is an African American. They're running, and he's like, "You're black and I'm gay. We're bound to die."
We're fucked.
Yeah.
We also have Uriah Shelton as Booker Strode, Millie's crush.
Yes.
And the great Alan Ruck as Mr. Bernardi,
Oh,
Millie's abusive and unsympathetic woodshop teacher.
which was really well done. Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
Like, I like, unless you are an asshole, I guess, I think it would be so hard to play, like, a complete asshole.
Yeah.
But he does such a good job.
He does.
Like, he's
And
such a douche.
This movie does a great job at feeling sympathetic for the main character. Like, she has a very
Yes.
shitty time.
And, yeah,
We find out that
exactly.
her father passed away a year ago. Her mother drinks like her face off to coke.
Yes.
Her sister is so committed to the job that she's just not even there.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
like her classmates are just bitches to her.
Exactly.
Her teacher is an asshole, always trying to kind of make fun of her.
Yeah.
And they all get their comeuppance. So,
Yes, exactly. But saying that, like, she always wants attention and stuff, it's like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's dickish.
yeah, and like
Dickish.
she's such a like an introvert and very quiet and stuff,
Very.
and people still pick on her. Like,
Yeah.
do better. God,
Yeah.
people.
jeez.
Grr. Grr, grr,
Rah, rah,
grr.
rah. Plot time?
Let's do it.
Okay, so 4 teenagers are brutally murdered by a serial killer known as the Blissfield Butcher, who then steals an ancient dagger known as Ladola.
Yes.
They just skip the whole beginning.
Wow.
So basically, we had 4 teens, 2 couples. They're having a little fire, but I guess at a friend's place.
Yes.
And they started talking about the Blissfield Butcher, how it's an urban legend kind of thing. And the one guy scares his girlfriend, and she spills cheap beer on herself, so she runs to go clean up a bit. And the other guy's like, go after her. And so he goes to go chase her down while those two end up banging.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought one of them was the main character at first.
So did I. I thought the blonde girl was.
So did I. That
Yes.
screwed me up.
I was like, man, they're gonna make this like total asshole bitch the main character. Like,
Yeah.
oof.
And so we start off with that, and the guy who scared the girl, he gets killed first with a
Yes.
champagne bottle shoved down his throat and then shattered.
So good. It's like, ugh, especially because I'm drinking wine right now, but like, it's alarming, like how it
Oh, yeah.
happens. It's kind of like, oh, that's kind of gross. And then when it shatters and there's glass everywhere, it's like, ugh.
That was a good kill.
Yes.
That was definitely kill the flick potential.
Yeah.
Mm. Then we see his girlfriend get her head smushed by a toilet seat.
Yes.
We then get the...
Which was what I was talking about before. It was horrifying. Like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Oof.
Then we get the other boyfriend dies.
Yes.
He dies
Yep.
first by... How did he die again? I'm pulling a blank on his death. It was not
They were in the
that.
garage. Oh, it's the tennis racket.
Oh, right.
Yes. It was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, he basically snapped the tennis racket in half and then pierced his head with both pointy ends.
Yes.
And he died.
Yeah.
And then the girl ran away, classic girl run. She ran, hid, he couldn't find her. And then she, of course, crept out like a dumb girl she was when her parents came home.
Like,
And
but where the fuck did the back of the closet go, Narnia? Like, why didn't she escape?
Why didn't she just stay there?
Yes.
Dumb bitch. Anyways, the killer, he catches her, slams her into this wall, and basically impales her. Does
Yes.
the
Yep.
Michael Myers head tilt,
Yes.
and he sees this dagger that's glowing and kind of, your voice is talking. And he takes that, and his parents come home and find their daughter and her friends dead.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, he steals an ancient dagger known as Ladola.
Yes.
The next day, bullied high school student Millie Kessler attends the Blissfield Valley High School homecoming football game, where she performs as a school mascot.
And it's so cute. It's like a little chubby outfit.
I thought it was a
It's
guy
so
at first. I
cute.
thought it was a guy at first. Just
Mhm.
like, oh. As Millie waits for a ride home near the now empty school, because her mom was passed out drunk, the butcher attacks her. He stabs Millie in the shoulder with Ladola, causing an identical wound to instantly appear on his shoulder.
Yes.
Millie's older sister, Charlene, a police officer, arrives and scares off the butcher. The police collect Ladola as evidence and initiate a manhunt for the butcher.
Mm-hmm.
The following morning, the butcher and Millie discover they had switched bodies, and they both make their way to Blissfield Valley High School.
This is a really good scene because it's basically the butcher waking up in Millie's body, and he's just very silent. Doesn't talk.
He's very out. He's like, "What's going on?" He's always looking around. He doesn't say a word,
but doesn't verbalize it.
Nope, he doesn't.
Just like looks at the posters on her wall. She has like a Pitch Perfect 2 poster and a Panic at the Disco poster. Just kind of looks around and he's like, what? And then her mom comes into the room. He looks at his hands and pictures and stuff and kind of figures it out. Whereas Millie in the butcher's body, and she wakes up and just immediately starts screaming, looking in the mirror, screaming more. A homeless guy comes up to her.
Looking for drugs.
Asks her for drugs. She's like, as Vince Vaughn is like, when you look at me, do you see like a petite, blonde, like high school student? And he's like, man, I want the same drugs you're on. Like, I want to be a student. And then Millie freaks out and runs away, and he's like, I'll suck your dick. Like, it's so funny.
All of your dick.
Yeah, all of it.
So good. And you can see
oh
then...
my god. And that's like the moment you're like, okay, this is like an LOL movie on top of the horror. Yeah.
Yeah. A little over the top, but that works. It works for this.
So funny. Like, I laughed out loud multiple times.
So did I.
So good.
And the killer, he slowly kind of adjusts to this. He tries to kill the mom, he kills his sister. But the mom gets the knife before, kind of not realizing what's going on. And she's like, well, are you going to stay home today, Millie, or go to school with your friends? And 2 words, school, friends.
Yes.
And you see him and her body trying to figure out what to wear, going through her clothes, like, ugh, yuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's something to show off my boobs, because I found I have boobs.
Yeah.
And so he steals like a nice red jacket from her sisters and dresses different, a little sexier, less blah.
Like tight jeans and a black tank and
hair
like
in
a red
ponytail.
leather jacket. Yep. Red lipstick. Like, whereas before she didn't wear any makeup and she wore her hair down and kind of like over her face and wore like a long dress with tights, which is like kind of almost gave me like Jamie Lee Curtis in the first Halloween, like with the dress and tights thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Can get into that, I guess.
Oh yeah. And we also find out that the dagger is in police custody. That's right. I said that already. Yes. Yeah. At school, the butcher, now posing as Millie, kills Millie's chief tormentor, Ryler, by locking her in a cryotherapy tank in the girls' locker room. He realizes his innocent appearance grants him immunity from suspicion and murders woodshop teacher Mr. Bernardi, another one of Millie's tormentors, with a table saw.
Did they just like... No, you said the cryo thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus. I was did you skip over the cryo thing?
No, it was like Ryler kind of, because Millie was... It was reported she was in she was attacked.
Yes.
Ryler's trying to get the dirt, and Millie's like, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Someplace private.
Yes.
And she kind of gets a little creepy on Ryler. I was like, oh my god, she's a lesbian. And then
she sends a text to her friends. It says #vegetarian. Actually,
and we see Millie in the killer's body trying to get someone to listen to her. And everyone's running away scared. She's going, it's the killer.
Yeah.
And so we see Millie disappears.
Yes.
Ryler goes over to see. She hears like a shower running.
Right.
And we think, it's Millie. It's a trick. Nope, it's actually Millie in the killer's body having a shower. Ryler freaks out, and Millie, like the killer Millie, decides, you're hiding here. And Ryler asks, is it safe? He's like, I don't know. Puts her in the cryotherapy thing and just drops it to -300.
Mm-hmm.
And then disappears. And and Millie and the killer, she comes out and opens the door, and there's Ryler frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you okay? And she falls and shatters. She's like,
bunch of meaty, shattery chunks.
And then...
is that how that would really happen?
No.
There's no way, right? Because I've seen that happen in a few horror movies. And it's always like bloody, meaty chunks.
The only way that would happen is with hydrogen? No. It's that like the stuff you use like to freeze stuff instantly.
Oh, yeah.
Then maybe. That would probably work. Because I remember seeing people do it like a banana. They put a banana in and then they pull it out and they just smash it. So
Yeah,
I guess
I've
it
seen
would,
that too.
but that would hurt like hell. Oh, that would be a painful death.
Yeah.
And then with Mr.
Mr. Ferris Bueller.
Mr. Bernardi, yeah, like she goes in with like
Yes.
she walks in and he's what the hell are you doing here? Get out of here! And she puts on like goggles and like a
In
lab
a trench
coat,
coat. Yep.
and then starts the saw. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He goes over to try and stop her, and she tries to stab him with a screwdriver. He fights her off, beats her up, kicks the crap out of her.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, that was self-defense." And then she tries to attack him again, and he like you said, kicks
he
the
knocks her down
shit out of her.
and just boot fucks her hard.
Oh.
And then she kind of she plays playing possum, stabs him in the neck, and then he gets sliced in half with the bandsaw.
Yes.
Which is very
was
Mortal
so
Kombat
good.
finisher-ish.
Yes.
I loved it. That was a great...
It was very... I was like, oh, this is 2020. How are they going to do it? It was very realistic.
It was well done.
Yeah, that dummy that they used was like chef's kiss, because holy shit. Yeah. Not enough blood for my liking.
No, it was pretty tame with the blood.
Yeah, there was almost none. But, they probably had to do that for the rating, honestly.
Millie, now in the butcher's body, finds her best friends Nyla and Josh and proves her identity to them by performing the school mascot's dance routine and answering a series of personal questions.
Yes.
Nyla and Josh research Ladola and discover that Millie must stab the butcher with a dagger by midnight, or else the body switch permanent.
I love how they did this though, where like Josh basically literally Googles Ladola. And then they kind of sort of figure it out, and then they go and talk to the Spanish teacher.
They're trying to read, and they can't. Like, aren't you like in the third year Spanish? Like, I suck at Spanish, okay?
Yeah.
And they're talking to her, and she's reciting all this in Spanish. We're like, could you translate?
Yes.
And she's like, Josh, you should know better than that. You're a good student. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. And she's like, and she explained to him, and like, oh, yeah, okay.
Which is literally me. Like, I've taken 10 years of French, and all I can say is, like, I don't speak French, and where's the bathroom? That's literally all I can say.
And
10 years. That's it.
Yuck. Stupid French. Later that afternoon, the butcher lures Millie's crush Booker into a monster mini-golf course to kill him.
Yes.
But Millie, Nyla, and Josh arrive just in time to save him. I would love to go to that mini golf. That looks fun.
It looks amazing. We have a 3D one, sort of kind of like that in like here.
Oh yeah,
but it's not horror themed.
No,
obviously.
it's called Mars.
Yes, I've been there. It's fine. There's you're not supposed to climb on anything, but like there's a whole underwater area. So I took a bunch of aerial photos there.
Yep, there's a shark.
Yes,
the
there's a shark. A turtle. There's a turtle I really liked. Yeah.
Millie knocks both the butcher and Booker unconscious. Millie in the killer's body.
Yes,
and she and her friends bring the two to Josh's house. After tying the butcher to a chair, Millie and Nyla try to explain the situation to Booker, who remains unconvinced until Millie recites a love poem she anonymously wrote to him weeks earlier.
Yes.
Josh watches over the butcher while Millie, Nyla, and Booker drive to the police station to obtain Ladola. Nyla tricks Charlene, the last officer in the station, into leaving so she can steal the dagger. Waiting outside in the car, Booker reveals that he has always liked Millie.
Yes.
And Millie divulges how she enjoys the newfound strength and confidence she feels while in the butcher's body, and they kiss.
You know how I can tell that Vince Vaughn is a good actor? Is this scene is endearing and not creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, isn't that interesting? Because it's like... Normally, if, an older man was talking to a teenager, I'd be like, oof. But
back to Michael Jackson again.
God damn it. But Vince Vaughn plays this character so well that you're actually, like, rooting for them to have these, like, good talks, and you're like, this is adorable. And it's like, instead of being like, this is like, somebody call the police. Yeah. And when he, like, goes to the back seat to sit beside him, and he's like, I just felt like I was so far away from you. And I'm like, oh.
Kudos to Booker for not caring what sort of body that she's in.
100%.
He threw a smooch.
That's a true king, yeah. And she's like, my teeth are yellow. And I'm like, old. And he's
I got man hands.
Yeah, and he's like, you're still Millie. And then plants one on Vince Vaughn. And he's like, she's like, okay, that's enough. Let's just...
let's
Put
wait.
a pin in it.
Let's wait till I'm fixed.
Yeah.
The butcher eventually escapes Josh's house, and Charlene catches Nyla stealing Ladola.
Okay, the escape scene is really good though.
Yeah, the
Are
mom.
we gonna just
the
skip
mom,
over the escape scene because it's really funny?
I don't want to spoil too much.
But it's so good.
Okay. So Josh's mom shows up, and she's like, "Why is Millie tied up?"
Yeah.
And Josh is
Tied
like,
to a chair and gagged.
Yes. It's like, we're role playing. Isn't role playing like a sex act? And as it's all going on, we got Millie, the butcher, and Millie trying to respond like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, yes, it is. But Mom, I was mean to tell you, I'm straight.
And how he says it is like, so Mom, I'm straight. And she's like, Josh, you're a lot of things, but straight is not one of them.
and even the killer is just laughing about that.
Yeah, and
one.
he's like,
Anyways, he breaks free and
so
chases.
good. Yes. Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, so good.
Still in the car, Millie sees the butcher enter the police station and runs in after him.
Yes.
But Charlene tries to detain her, unaware of the situation. Millie overpowers Charlene and locks her in a jail cell while the butcher escapes in a police car. At the Blissfield Valley High homecoming dance, the butcher kills 4 football players after 3 of them attempt to rape her. Him.
That
thinking
was scary.
he's Millie. And another forcibly kisses Josh.
Yes.
Which is, I suspect right away. When
yes, absolutely.
Drunk jock guy who's a closet homosexual. Of course, he goes after the open homosexual.
Openly gay, yeah.
And just,
But it was almost alluded to when Josh was talking about Homecoming, where he's like, why would I miss Homecoming? It's, a bunch of straight guys, deciding that they're fluid that night. And it's like, okay, I see.
and the deaths of these guys, this is, again, karma.
Yes.
The one guy gets a bottle smashed over his head because the 3 of them surround her. And they're like, all right, you got your 3 of us, you got 3 holes.
Which is so rapey.
Oh, very rapey.
Oh my God.
And
So you don't feel bad when they get their comeuppance.
No. And she takes her bottle, like, yeah, that'll make things go easier. And she pours it out, like, what the fuck? Smashes one guy in the head with it, slices another one's throat with it, and the little struggle with the 3rd guy until she finds a chainsaw.
Yes.
And
which is so good. As soon as I saw the chainsaw, I'm like, Nick, chainsaw.
Chainsaw massacre. And he gets a chainsaw to the junk.
Yes.
And then we find the one that she knocked out with the glass, he's decapitated.
Yes.
So, yeah, they find these well-deserving boys is dead.
Yes, exactly.
As midnight approaches, Millie finds the butcher and both Nyla and Josh hold him down while Booker staves off the police.
Mm-hmm.
Millie stabs the butcher with Ladola and they switch back to their own bodies just as the police shoot down the butcher.
Exactly.
Later, Millie and Booker talk about becoming a couple and they kiss again.
And you think that that's the end of the movie. You're like, all right, that's cool. That was a good ending.
That was a good fake out.
Yes. Which is very 80s.
Yes,
very
it is.
80s movie.
Yep, it's very classic horror
Yes.
slasher. Just when we think the killer's dead, he makes one last attempt.
Yes.
Great. After faking his death in an ambulance, the butcher follows Millie home and attacks her, mocking her physical weakness and anxiety.
Yes.
Millie, Charlene, and her mother struggle to overpower the butcher, but Millie finally kills him by impaling him with a broken table leg.
Yes. Which, you go, girl.
The end. And this is cool how, while he's got her kind of, restrained, he's almost like he's trying to entice her to join.
Yes.
Like, come on, join
yeah,
the dark side.
this is how you are, but you could be more, kind of.
Yeah, this is, you're in for, it really does sound like he's trying to turn her over to his side, like, become like me.
Right.
You're like me.
Like, almost train her or something.
Yeah, very, Vader and Luke.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, join
me
side.
and we shall. Yeah, exactly. And then her, the kill with the table leg to the back and a kick, very Buffy.
Yes!
I was like, he doesn't go poof, he goes blah.
Why you no go poof?
No poof, just blah. And the end, that's the movie.
Yay!
It was a good movie.
This is the first current horror movie I've watched in a long time where it's like, I can't wait to show that to my friends. And I don't feel that way super, super often about movies. The last one I felt was Midsummer.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I need people to watch this so I can talk about it. But I loved this movie. I thought
This
it
is
was
really good.
such a fun movie. And that's exactly what horror needs. Is like, sort of
and
fun movies.
It's not the tamest. Or
No. Oh my
the
God.
It's not the most explicit movie. It's
Yes.
pretty tame, all things considering. But it still is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
a good movie, good flick.
Yeah. No nudity. Very limited
There's
swearing.
there's a small, unseen sex scene at the beginning where
Oh, yeah.
basically
But nothing is shown.
nothing is shown.
No.
A lot of peeing though. There's more pee. There's more urination than sex in this movie.
Yes.
Which
Yep.
whatever. It's
That's how it is.
it's funny.
But how could you have a horror movie without two teens going at it?
That's
You
true.
know?
You gotta keep the tropes going.
Exactly. Oh, Ichabod's trying to tell us it's time to play with her.
Yeah. She also wants to kill the flick. So Ichabod's killed the flick. We couldn't decide which two.
There
So-
were the kills in this movie, each one of them was so good.
Yeah.
It was really, really well done. Yeah.
But we came down to two. We couldn't pick
Yes.
one. There was two. So the champagne bottle down the neck and
Yes.
and smashed was one.
Yes. Because that glass jetting out of his neck
Yes.
is like, as I'm sitting on the couch drinking wine, I'm like,
Yeah. And the second one was Mr. The teacher, the shop
Yeah.
teacher's death, because she stabbed him in the neck,
Yep.
and of course the dumbass he pulls it out
Yes!
and it squirts out. That was the most real. After watching the "You Cannot Stop, You Cannot Kill David Arquette"
Yep.
Documentary, when he actually gets his throat like gashed,
Yep.
they take it away in the hospital and it just blood just out. And I'm like, okay, that's real.
Yep.
And the movie, same thing. I'm like, that's legit. That is real. That
Yes,
looks real
it
enough.
like literally squirts like a fountain if you get
And
it
that's
like an
true.
artery.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what happened. And he
Yeah.
covered up again, and then he fell back, and he got sliced in half, which is very Mortal Kombat fatality-ish. Like, that was a finish him.
Yes.
And it was a great, you see it. You don't, it's not like a cutaway.
Yes.
You see
which
this-
is very which happens a lot
Yeah.
in horror movies is they do cutaways. Cuz especially back in the I'm saying older days in the 80s, but like in the 80s, it was hard to do that kind of stuff, right?
You would do cutaway and do far away and make it, so it's kind of blurry or...
Yep.
And,
and then
you
they'd
also,
set the dummy up and it
yes,
would be there.
and
Yeah.
leave it up also to the imagination of the audience.
Right.
With this, there is no setting up or anything. It's
Nope.
here. This guy's now cut in half. He is bisected,
Yeah.
and it looks great. It's a
It
great
really does.
great effect and kill.
Yeah. Never made me. I'm glad I didn't do shop in high school.
I did. That never happened.
No.
No.
Darn.
Which is a good thing, I think.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No people in half.
It's no fun.
Oh, this was good. Well, what would you rate it then?
I would rate this.
Drum roll, please.
I'd give it a 3.
Oh,
Like, it was
okay.
a good even movie. There's nothing really bad with it. Again, it was more geared towards younger, new horror movie audience.
Sure.
But it's just a lot of calm down, Nikki. There's a lot of good.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay,
Problem solved.
pig was
There's-
retrieved. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, there's a lot of callbacks to famous, popular horrors.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
the whole movie, and it's like a love letter
Yes.
to all the classics.
I agree.
It was a great
It's
movie.
kind of reminds me, it's almost akin to like Ready Player One, where it's like if you're a video game sort of person, you see a lot of things where it's like, anybody can enjoy the movie, but if you actually watch it and you know video games, you're like, oh, hey, that's from that, that's from this.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would honestly give it like a 4 or 4.5 even.
Holy smokes.
I know.
That's a high rating.
I really like this
Well,
movie.
good.
It's one like I already want to watch it again, and I got it on on PlayStation, so I can watch it again.
You got it for 3 days.
I got it for 3 days. Also, it was $20, so just like if you want to watch it, I think it was honestly worth the $20.
Yeah.
But if not, like maybe wait for it to go down because that is expensive for a rental, honestly, which is too
It
bad.
is.
But like again, I understand what they're doing because movie theaters are out and stuff, so I get it. But
They
like,
got-
I also wanted to support the movie, so I'm glad that we did buy it.
They gotta make their
But,
money back somehow.
Exactly. So $19.99 is fine.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I'd give it a 4 or 4.5 even.
Nice.
Yeah, depending on how much more wine I drink, it might be a 4.5.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so that was freaky. Really fun.
Really good.
Really good. Very yeah, I'm glad that this is I hope that horror movies keep going in this direction.
I do, but also it's definitely not R-rated.
Totally, yeah.
Also,
Bring back something super scary, but if this helps people get into horror movies, definitely.
Yes, and we also need more of the hardcore, scary,
gory, yeah.
horror movie too. Those are good ones.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Yay.
Yeah.
And next week, we're going back in time.
Back in time, not that far,
No.
but we're going
Really?
to go. Oh, so
I thought it was like 2000.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Oh,
It's less than 20 years.
I think 20 years is a lot.
But we're going back and we're going to watch and review at the time, one of the best, not best, but it was most well-known and popular horror movies at the time,
Yes.
Ring. We're watching The Ring.
Yes. And I remember when this came out, I was in elementary school and everybody was talking about it.
Yep.
Everybody was talking about it. And recently, like within the last couple months, I've watched the Japanese version of The Ring. And it was good. It was scary-ish, but it just I don't know, wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with the scare level of it, but it was still a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hoping. I've heard really, really good things about this one. So
Yeah, I remember when this came out, you could call a number, and they would, call someone like, have as a prank on a friend.
Sure.
Where you pick up the phone, it would say 7 days.
Oh my
And then
god.
hang up. That was a thing.
Oh.
Or other people do it themselves. They would
Right,
just
of
do that
course.
just to scare people.
Yeah.
And this movie, after it came out, it scared people. It was one of the movies that, holy shit, this is a scary movie. You got to see it.
Yes. And I've heard that. Like, I've heard how scary it is. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really good.
I'm excited.
Are you?
Yes.
You've seen it before, right?
I have. I just got to find one that's not stupid full screen.
Right. You've got the full screen thing.
I do. I'll find a widescreen somehow,
That's okay.
some way.
I'm not worried about it either way, honestly. But thank you so much for joining us this week. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod, who's been just lovely this whole episode. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Bye!
See ya.